Alright guys, sneak peek. I got a special guest here. And alright, this is a sneak peek of a little podcast going, so let's see. Alright, about 10 minutes or so. Alright, before we get started, special guest, Miss Jesica Gamino.
Hi!
Alright. So I'm going to set this right here to the side a bit. Look, I got stuff
You got it set up!
Got my camera. So, alright, let's get this going. So, it has been a good while. It's been a good while since we spoke. So, let's start. How you been?
I've been great. Just getting off from work. I've been good. And when did I last see you? Graduation, right? When I graduated.
Has it been that long? Wow,
Yeah.
time flies.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, wow. It's been good while.
Yeah.
Well, nice to see you. I heard that you were studying about psychology. Is that so?
Oh, well, with my major, I did minor in psychology. And with my major, it does deal a lot with psychology. It's a little bit different. It's applied behavior analysis, so it's more about the behavior and more about reinforcement. But for sure, yeah, I know a little bit of psychology. Just don't ask me any technical questions. I might just freaking make up shit. But
I love that honesty. All right, well, let's see. When it comes to thinking of one pushing themselves lower, because that's a topic that I really speak about a lot, because I come from that.
Yeah.
I come from that victim mentality. Sure. So what are the certain things that you've seen? Yeah, we're good. We got our waveforms going. Everything's good.
Cool.
So when it comes to the sense of that whole thinking, what are the processes that start that?
Right. So I guess you're kind of also now that you said that, it kind of reminds me of cognitive therapy, where it's kind of deals with when you have this always negative aspect about things, so kind of a little bit like depression or anxiety. So the reason why we think that, the way we behave, so it's our thoughts and our behavior. So if we're already thinking negative, then we're going to behave that way. But if we have a different perspective about things, I think definitely it all starts with what we're thinking, and then it's there has to be that beginning or that spark, and then after it's how we act about it, or pretty much just I don't know how to describe it, but do you gotta get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, totally. I could totally get into it. I really love that. But let's start. I know we all go through bad stuff. So a main reason that I like doing the podcast is so folks can hear it's story from different people, not just me. Mm-hmm. So they can be oh, whoa, maybe I saw this person in horror or whatever. Yeah. It's whoa, they feeling that too. That's yeah. 2. That's 3 with me, yeah. And it just keeps going. The more folks I get on, so yeah. You are not alone. So definitely, sure. I know there was a certain time. Well, let me take that away. I'm not sure, but there could have been a time that you had that mentality, yeah. or not.
I think.
When did you notice it, and what steps did you start taking that to help you out?
I think one thing before I talk about that, I think we're also driven to negativity as humans. We're very we see people in magazines or on TV, or we try to be like other people we know, and we want to have this perfectionism.
That's
we want to be
something
perfect,
I spoke about in my other videos.
You want to be totally you always think you can do better, or you're always man, I wish I was like that person. They're doing good in their lives, and all this stuff, and it always comes down to comparing yourself to someone else. When in reality, it shouldn't be that way. Everyone is different, and we all need to embrace the differences between us, because that's what really, it's about, if everyone was the same, that's boring as shit,
Definitely.
Everyone has to be different, and it's just really hard too with all the media and stuff like that, trying not to be perfect, or, trying to blend in, and it's also, it's hard though.
You really got to be hard, because all this media, that's a lot of stimuli coming.
Right.
You really do have to be prepared, because the way I see it, all that stuff, you're pretty much programming yourself, because for example, fear of anything, I always say that you're taught fear. You learn fear when you're born. If you're afraid of the dark, that didn't happen normally because it was dark in your mother's womb. See, there was an event in time that happened that created that fear. Just like me, the fear to speaking or being behind the camera or whatever the reason might be. That's what it was. And all that, there's the stimuli that's coming. There's events that happen where then you go to a group of people, like in school, like me. I went to a group of folks that I was just like, we were all kids, and I'm like, hey guys, and because I was different a certain way, and I wasn't with the masses, they, rejected me, talked bad, bullied me, and then I learned this fear, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to be myself.
You got shaped into feeling that you're not.
Yeah, and then I started looking at validation. Oh, I need to fit in, so I need to do this. I was creating a persona that wasn't me. Yeah. Just like, I'm a metalhead, and woo! Yeah, and when I would go to shows, I spoke about in my previous videos before that I'd, for example, see a guy that's all nicely tatted, awesome hair, all that good stuff, and he would walk with a gorgeous gal, and I'm like, whoa, I need to be just like him, have those tattoos, this and that, so that I can get that result of having a beautiful gal by my side, just like that. And so there and then, that was a different persona. That was just not me already. And that's what really it tends to happen. But it really, really goes pretty deep. And so at what age did you really notice that, and what were the steps that you start taking to get out of that cycle?
I think, honestly, I probably am not out of that cycle 100%. I mean, if we're being honest, there's always that, I want to be this way, but I can't.
It's always a growth.
Or especially, girls, we have this mentality of, be skinny and,
Whoa, can you go in depth more of that? Because as a guy, I've been observant a lot over the years, and because the way people treat me, I've always been quiet, and it's like the quieter I am, the more you learn, the more all that. So definitely give me some of that input.
Well, it's just like how I told you, being skinny is kind of that's how it should be. That should be the norm. That everything when you're when you're skinny, things come your way, or just everything's just better, or you look good. You're trying to impress people, you're trying to date someone, and I think having that mentality that I need to look a certain way to be able to get all these cool things happening in my life, that's kind of I guess one thing is to be healthy, and then one thing is to be okay, I just want to be skinny, I want to look good, but for example with me, I'm just I've kind of just kind of come to accept that I'm not going to be a skinny girl ever, it's just not in my genes, it's not in my biology. So I kind of just have to accept that the way I am, that's just how God made me, and that's how I'm I need to learn how to love myself. And I mean, I do love myself, I do. But there's always that little thing that us girls, we have, we can always look better or do better, and I don't know if it all comes down to mating and stuff. That's the trying to get
we gotta survive. We gotta reproduce,
survive, mating, reproduce, and all that. Because the more supposedly skinnier or curvier or all that stuff, is proven in biology. All that stuff, and we want to look like that. But I think there's a certain level where we have to accept and kind of work with.
So when it comes to accepting, where does that come from, or where are the steps that you think you could take? I'll after you, I'll go ahead and give my view of all that and the things I've done, just so I can go ahead and end the side of Facebook.
By the way, guys, this was not planned. I'm just running my mouth.
And that's how it is. That's a cool thing. I think it's like this.
And I'm stumbling on my words. Okay,
if people are afraid, it's you just gotta go for it. You can't think about it.
Yeah.
It's just let's do it. Let's get it out of the system.
Yeah. What was your question?
All right, talking about accepting.
Accepting.
Yeah.
I guess now that I've been, now I'm 23 years old, almost 24, and now it's I look at myself, I'm Dan, I love myself, I like these things about me, I used to hated being tall when I was in high school, hated, I wish I could cut off part of my freaking leg, because I hated being tall, I would walk around my friends, and they would all be shorter than me, all the guys would be my height, and it's the same thing that I tell you, it comes down to mating, and it was I I hated it. Like all the cute guys were like my same height, or I was taller than them. And now it's one of the best things, if not the best thing I love about myself.
What's
being
up?
tall.
Yeah.
Like now I'm like I feel really grateful, of being so tall. I love it. I love it now.
So what activity happened that made you realize or be like, oh, what? This is awesome.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think back. It definitely happened like somewhere between senior year and like freshman year in college.
Okay.
Like somewhere between that line, yeah. Because when I like really hated it, I was like a sophomore in high school. Like I dreaded it, And then I think I just started like just really embracing it and liking it and just like noticing that dang, like being tall isn't a bad thing. A tall woman isn't a bad thing. And just. I don't know. It's just like I'm just glad it happened.
Cool.
That I
Well,
embrace it now.
For my accepting part, the way it all started coming along was, I was sick and tired of feeling emotions that wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna talk about the difference between a state of happiness and the emotion of happiness.
Yeah.
But the emotion, every breath I felt something in the chest. I'm guessing that's sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but every breath, and I couldn't look myself in the mirror. Like I couldn't. It was just bad. And so I was like, okay, get to the bottom of it. Do you like the way you feel? No. Okay. What is it that I feel? And I was like, well, right now I'm just depressed. Why? Well, because it seems that I can't get anything that I want. It's like, why? Like, no, be more clear. It's like, what are the things you tried and it did not work out?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, well, I intended this. It didn't work out. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Try to think perspective. What did I do? Well, I did this. Could I have done something else?
Mm-hmm.
I could have. Well, let me write that down. I love pen and paper. I'll write it down and I'm like, let me try it again. And I think smaller. And like me, I was always feeling bad about that. It took me like literally like at least 300 gals before I got my first girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really think bad, but now I'm just like, wait. That caused a lot of depression because yet again, the whole reproduction, and a lot of people go through that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, wait, that's 300. There's 7.5 billion people on Earth. Let's just say 4 billion is females. I'm tripping over 300? No. And then I'm just like, man, I'm thinking small, think bigger, think more open-minded. I'm like, okay, accept it. And every emotion that I was feeling that wasn't, in a good state, I worked with the question saying why to get to the bottom of it. And when I did get to the bottom of it, I got to the root of it, which is, can I do something about it? Yes or no? If I can, I'll do it. Then it's gone. It's no longer an issue. If I can't, I gotta accept it.
Yeah.
And let it go. And once you write stuff down and get to the bottom of it, it's easy because you could say it. For me, I feel saying it was one thing, but literally once you write it down and say it out loud, for some reason, everything makes more sense and everything is just like, what the hell? It's amazing how it just works. And so that's the steps that I started taking, and then I started working to the being in the state of happiness, and for me that is just being in the now. Right now I'm holding my phone with one hand and doing this thing with the other hand, and I'm speaking with you and I'm recording. That's me in the now. That I'm not focusing on the past or anything, because if I'm depressed or angry, like I said before, I'm playing something in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the now. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'll be playing a movie in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I know damn well why, because I feel a certain feeling. So I tell folks, what do you feel right now? They're like, well, I'm angry. Well, you're playing something in your head. You're not here with me. You're switching from now to that, to that, back and forth.
It's you brought up two important things. Like, first of all, that's all cognitive thinking. For sure, that's like, they say that cognitive therapy is sometimes even more effective than drugs, which is like, people that take psych meds, or like if they're going through certain, like they have mood disorders or any kind of like mental disorders that they think is so serious they have to take psych drugs, or what's the proper word?
All I know is
psychotropic drugs.
They pull out the DSM.
Yeah, the DSM-5 with all these diagnostics or whatever. But anyway, it's cognitive. Sometimes cognitive therapy is pretty much just talking therapy, right? But you can do it on your own, like what you're saying, like, okay, if I'm feeling this way, what can I do to change it? Because at the end, like all those stupid memes that are out there that are like, oh, it also like, I don't know, I've seen so many, I can't even think about one right now, but it's kind of like whatever you control what your feelings, you control what you think, you know. And it's true, it's like so simple that we like don't
Can
realize
can you break it down? Because at first, for example, like the whole depression, like when I was going through it and somebody say be happy, for me it was like a unicorn. It doesn't exist. How the hell am I going to be happy? You know what I'm saying? So what is a way you could possibly like break it down in your point of view?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know too much stuff about it. I'm just kind of like, I just know very little about it, but it's kind of just pretty much like there's certain steps and you have to like, you know, work like first on the things, like negative things and the people around you, like your support system or like how, how other people and yourself can change the way you think, and then that makes your behaviors change, right? Like, oh, if I want to freaking think that my, life is freaking negative and a piece of shit, then I'm gonna act like it, you know?
Yeah.
Right. But if you
let's get into that topic a bit more before I
different thinking, like what you went through, you know, like you're like, oh, writing it down too. That's like super like effective. Like I work at a substance abuse rehabilitation place for women that are addicted to drugs, and a lot of them do journaling and they write
really?
stuff, and they never even heard about that because they're out there doing drugs and shit, and like they get addicted and then they start journaling their stuff. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know something as simple as this could help me, you know?
Wow.
And sometimes it's just really simple and we like think it's like super hard, like only a freaking psychiatrist can help me or something, you know, when it's not. It's something just like that starts.
It's that willpower starting. It's
willpower for sure.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what it was.
The motivation and to really wanting to change your life and change the way you think.
And the whole motivation thing, like there's folks that's like, oh, give me motivation, and what I felt is like there's no need motivation. You should create it, but it's like how should you create it is the thing. Because yet again, it's like a unicorn, doesn't exist, and you might not know the certain knowledge, and you haven't experienced enough to know that.
I think also it has to be with the people you surround yourself, your environment.
Thank you. That is so big on that.
Your environment is just like an antecedent in your environment where you're surrounding yourself. If you're gonna go to the place where it reminds you like of stupid shit, or you have places where you are like in your darkest, then you need to avoid that place or people, right?
It's as simple as that. Yes, it's
simple,
funny. Those are the steps that I took to switch things around. So there was folks that I completely just stopped talking to, and I love them very much. I have nothing against them, but I didn't know how to put it into words then, and now I should probably definitely get in contact to them and letting them know why I stopped talking to them. Definitely.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. And yeah, because like my point of view is like, well, everything we do is a habit. Every time we get together, we do the same thing. Nothing's going to change. That's insanity. You're doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. So I'm like, I need to stop speaking to them. And once I did that, things changed for me and for them. Like now that they're doing great.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa. So this big step I did by seizing us speaking changed this for the better. And in the sense that, we broke that habit. And to change habits, you don't just change a habit. There's 3 parts to a habit: cue, routine, and reward. Cue or trigger. There's something that triggers, and then your brain, your basal ganglia stores it. The whole process. And then you want the outcome, the reward. So you do a certain routine. And in this case, the habit, I changed it by changing the routine. Since I no longer spoke to them, which was the routine to get the reward, then I created a new one once I just kept doing a different routine. And that was the habit.
Yeah, see, with applied behavior analysis, which is what I majored in, it's this big thing. It's called ABC. A is the antecedent, so A is kind of like the environment, what leads you to be the behavior, which is your response to behavior, and then C, consequence, which is your reward. So in order to, either the consequence is good or bad, you're going to either keep going to that place, or stop going to that place, or keep acting a certain way to receive the consequence, or act differently to not receive, or escape or avoid, so it's kind of like A, where am I at? B, okay, how am I going to respond? And C, what's the consequence of
Let's give an example. I like to give my personal example of that, or could you give an example of maybe if you applied that, if you realized to your own self?
Let me see. Oh, this one's like really dumb, but like for example, when I was I keep talking about school just because I recently graduated, but okay, so I couldn't focus at all when I studied at home or did homework. Like I have a 3-year-old brother, which I love, and I'm always like with him, at home, and he's like very distracting, right? So I noticed like I started like, okay, kind of like realizing, okay, what do I need to do to change this? Like I can't do anything at home. So I started going to like different places, and I started like seeing where I studied more and did more homework, and where I felt like I was more efficient, like in my homework or school, whatever. And I went to 2 different places. I went to Starbucks and then my library. And surprisingly, even though Starbucks was really loud, that's where I did a lot more homework, and I studied better, and I did better on my tests. So I kind of compared. So it's kind of like I stopped going home like straight after school and going home and studying. Instead, I just would go to Starbucks. And then, so dumb, but anyway, like it's kind of like what I'm trying to say. Like now I notice when I went to a different place, which is a different environment, it can be something as simple as that. Just changing your different study habits.
Changing the routine.
Yeah, and then my grades started improving because I couldn't concentrate at all at home. So it was like, I know it's a really dumb example, but it's kind of something that I realized that, you know what I mean?
Change that state of mind.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we can apply to millions of things. I mean, we're always like, we're always going to go act a certain way where we're going to get the hugest amount of reinforcement.
Definitely.
Or we get that preferred item, preferred person, or whatever preferred thing it may be. And we know how to act because that's what gets us to that. So if acting a certain way is not going to catch like someone's attention, then you're going to stop doing that and figure out something different, So you can apply it to everything. So yeah, I mean.
Sweet. Okay.
Cool. I don't know what else to say.
So before I end up this, on the Facebook, because I got some good topics that we're about to go deep, because me holding the phone is distracting me, and we're about to get in deep. This stuff will be on the website, and the website is in the works. It's almost done, but the full podcast, it's being recorded with the camera, will be on the website. All right, so the example that I want to give before I cut off Facebook is my addiction to alcohol in the past. So pretty much,
that's a good one.
Yet again, habits, 3 steps: cue or trigger, routine, and the reward. So my cue, my trigger, it was depression. It was before I understood stuff. I kept repressing stuff. I kept this certain feeling I never got to the bottom of why I was depressed. I just was aware I'm depressed. I don't want to feel depressed. I want depression to go away. So because I didn't get to the bottom of it, I did my routine, part 2 of the habit, which was drinking. When I got introduced to alcohol, I noticed that the whole buzz, the feeling, the stuff that was in my mind would leave. So I'm just like, whoa. I had that 3rd place, which was a reward to my trigger, which was depression. So then I stored in my basal ganglia, and then next time I felt depressed, I was just like, I need alcohol. And boom, I wouldn't drink just for the flavor. I'd drink to get fucked up. Why? Because I know with enough alcohol, that first beginning, that trigger was going to go bye-bye, because I was going to be buzzed, drunk, and yeah, it was going to be gone. But guess what? In reality, the next day, it'd still be there. Why? Because I never got to the bottom of it. And as long as I was depressed, that means I never got to the bottom of my depression. But then I did. And once I did, there was no need to drink. And if I do drink now, which I had a long time without drinking, then I touched it again in May for my birthday, and things again went haywire, because forever the habit would ever be stored in your mind. So all it takes is that 1 drop of alcohol, and your old routine is going to come back. So that's very difficult. I think that substance is actually very, very difficult substance. Yeah. Because the second I touch the alcohol on my tongue, it's like that. Was that high? Was that character that came out? Jackal.
Which word from what?
That crazy guy that turns Jackal and High or something.
Oh shit, I don't know, man.
Something like that. Well, anyways, I first drop of alcohol, and then I'd break out, and then I'm going to get wasted, and then boom. Yeah. But anyways, we're about to get deep, and holding the phone is really, really, really gets to bother me. But, alright guys, sneak peek. We're about to get deep. So definitely video 21 and peace, love, unity, respect. We're all beautiful and we're about to get started. So you have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. So I'll edit that.
What time is it? So, I feel like that was like. Would they close at 10, right? No, 9.
Yeah, we still got 20 minutes. All right, so pretty much, yeah, what I want to speak about now is the whole process of like I was saying earlier, before I say that, I want to talk about Child of Heart. Child of Heart is a speech that I'm developing. I don't know, it might even turn into a book, who knows. But as a child, I was drawn to certain things. We
this
are all
is recording
drawn
the
to
whole
certain
time?
things. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're all
cool.
drawn to certain things as a child, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a big believer that once you get to the bottom of those habits of that person you was as a child, that you'll then have understanding and you'll be happy. And that's the steps that I've been taking for me to feel great again. Because I speak about it a lot. And pretty much as a young age, I noticed that pre-K, kindergarten, I'd always go straight to the senior citizens when there would be parties or whatever, and the little kids playing like quinceañera stuff. I'd go straight to senior citizens. I'm like, sir, tell me about life. Nobody told me to do that. I did that willingly. So I think back and I'm like, I noticed that. I was like, wait, as a kid I did that? I was like, that's me. Nobody told me that. I stopped doing that. Why did I stop doing that? So I wrote that down. I need to start doing this more. And that's a reason why, I like speaking to people. And I really think it doesn't matter the age. It's just because we're all different folks and we all been through different things. You know what I'm saying? And so by doing that and just really, really getting down because I spoke about this before, I don't want to get too much more in that. But I will leave it at, because I've been tracing the things that happened as a child, and now that I'm starting to implement, now that I'm grown in 23, life is way more simpler, way more happier. Things is going amazing. So coming to that, what do you see in that is true or that you want to emphasize on?
About life being great?
About you focusing on the things you did at a very, very small age. And the habits, the routine. What's your point of view of that? Is that you? Because I feel we're innocent when we grow, and that's just us. And then we start changing because we're taught what we're taught.
What we're shaped and shaped to, and then what we see and all that stuff changes us. So kind of if my childhood has kind of shaped me the way I am today into the way I think, or that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not really clearly understanding. Talking about. Okay.
Well, it's about the whole. What do you think about this little philosophy? I guess that I've been coming up with. I guess that is listen to the you. From a little kid, pay attention to all the habits and all the routines, because that's you. And I focus, and I noticed that I stopped doing all that stuff, and now I was miserable. But once I start doing the stuff I used to do, I was no longer miserable. And it's like, why? And I was like, well, probably because that's me, and I stopped being me. Because I try to. Yeah, well, I think develop also a different persona.
Right, and then I also think that we're always growing and changing, and we learn from what we see and what we also school, what we learn in school, what we read, mentors, people, experiences, going through stuff in real life, and learning from that, and becoming a stronger person, and realizing dang, I was stupid for having that mentality back then, and now I'm not, life isn't really, it's not worth spending so much time in a stupid thing like that, for example, how you said, when you would feel depressed and stuff, and you're was that what was I thinking? That was stupid to feel that way, because it didn't mean anything. Now I realize how stupid it was, and how what really matters, the people that matter, because that's really what matters at the end of the day. And for you to try to really do what makes you happy, and realizing dang, this is how I'm gonna change and carry this on so I can live the greatest life I can ever live, you know? And but for sure, I get what you're trying to say. Like the way how we used to think when we were a child might be really completely different from now, but it should be for the better every time, right? Because we have to.
But my thing is, my philosophy is literally, if you're unhappy, I feel a great way to getting in track is, for sure, you have to understand what the emotions are and what state are, and just and why those emotions are and all that, and to get to the bottom. But
understanding, analyzing.
But doing the things you did as a child, I think that's a big cure, because that's us. So we were just told to do different things, and if you don't spin around in that curiosity a lot and grow on that and all that stuff, then you're still lacking that growth. You're out here. It's like growth is on pause, and you're out here and you're just like But once you get back into that, it's just like something so spiritual, and it's like, whoa, this is me. It's like it's crazy.
It's a sense of euphoria inside. Like, you know what, it's actually been a while since I felt the sense of euphoria. It's crazy. I remember when we spoke about it it was AP biology senior year in high school, so like, I don't know, 6 years ago or 6 years ago, and we were talking about euphoria. It's like this, you get it out of nowhere, like, and it's really random, and you just feel it all over your body, and you're just like, dang, like. And it's crazy because this is what some drugs produce. You know, you take these drugs and they produce these senses of euphoria inside of you. But like our body produces that it's kind of like I don't know, hormone, dopamine or whatever it is. I don't know euphoria what it is, but is it dopamine?
Yes.
Yeah, dopamine. And then so it's kind of like dopamine is produced by drugs when you take them, right? And our body actually naturally produces that, but it's not like for minutes and hours like drugs do, right? But when your body is naturally producing that, like I felt it like out of nowhere. You're just like, I was driving one day, I'm like, dang, my life is so good, like, and then your whole body, you feel it just filled with happiness. And then you're just like, but it doesn't last very long. I mean, yes, the idea that your life is good, like you're feeling good, you're happy, yes, but it's this, I don't know if you felt it before.
Yeah, I feel like a lot more now, because I see, the thing is, now I know what triggers it. I know what I have to do to be in that state. And I feel that's passion. That's what people talk about passion. And like, for some reason, when it comes to just learning, I'm gonna go back to the child of heart talk, because as a child, for one, I always wanted to learn. I realized why, because I always go to grown folks and tell me about life at a very small age. And so I would always set goals, achieve them, and say, what's next? I would always do that. And then I stopped doing that, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's when they start clicking. I'm like, it makes sense. I was in 5th grade, looked out the window, we're doing vocabulary. I said, fuck this. I zoned out. And I had a fucking, little daydream. When I grow up, I'm going to have long hair. I'm going to be in the band. I'm going to skateboard. I'm going to hack computers. I'm going to do all this stuff. When I was in 2013, graduated tech school, I zoned out again. I had shivers all over my body. I'm like, holy fuck. I done had long hair, done had a band, did a mini tour in San Felipe, Mexico, skateboarded, hacked computers, did all the stuff that I thought in the 5th grade. I'm like, fuck, I did that already. Holy fucking shit. So like, yeah, I'm very fond of going back as a kid, setting goals, doing them. What's next? That's what I'm doing now. I set a goal of what I want to do with the website, what I want to do with all this stuff, and what I'm doing, I'm in the doing right now. Why? Because I want to be able to get this and say, what's next? Once I hit to that point, I know I've did so much, and I can set a higher goal and go up. Because that's the thing. I want to continue going up. Yeah. That's why I was unhappy, because I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that. And that's why I was like, fuck, what's my calling? What the fuck it is? Yeah. And so I was like, wait, as a child I did all this, I stopped. And as soon as I practiced that again, and my feeling, and I was getting the nice high. Yeah. I think it's really great that you're doing this, because like I see how much you get excited about all this, and it's like all of us our age, like I'm just talking about people that we went to school with, and like it's kind of like we're in a midlife crisis, but at freaking 20 years old. Like, fuck. Like, dang, no, I'm way too young to be going through, but it's kind of like dang, reality, kind of like, okay, adulting, what is, like, I have to be an adult, like, shit, I don't want to do this, but of course I'm just overreacting, but I mean, not really, sometimes I feel that way, but I'm just like, I'm just like, shit, but like, then you realize, like, okay, dang, like, what am I gonna do with my life? Like, what do I really want to do? Like, I'm getting older, like, I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna die and shit. Wait, am I Oh, it's all
And
good.
then-
We cuss here at the Prospike Experience because that's us. I can't block this stuff. You know what I'm
Sorry.
saying? I gotta be who I am.
But it's like, I think, like, you know, just sometimes, you know, I'm looking at Facebook or whatever, and like people like saying their stuff, you know, a lot of people don't care, and they say like deep stuff on their Facebook page. I'm like, dang, really? I don't put that stuff on Facebook. But
Yeah.
anyway, but
Power
it's kind
to
of
them,
like,
though. That takes balls.
I
It
mean,
really
if that's
does.
the way
It
you're
takes
to
balls,
vent,
yeah.
that's cool, you know. But it's kind of like, I realize that all of us, you know, I felt like that too. Like, dang, what the heck am I doing with my life? Like, how about if I don't want to do this my whole life? Like, what really makes me happy? I want to have a job where I'm happy with what I'm doing, you know. I'm kind of going with that right now. Like, this new job that I have 2 jobs. This new one that I got, it's pretty related to what I majored in, but I don't really know if I want to work in this type of environment, like, for the next couple of years. Like, I'm kind of like already thinking of looking at another place, and I'm like, dang, well, but this is what I went to school for. But I'm like, hey, it doesn't mean like I have to stay in that specific area. There's like different other things that I can do with that, you know, like, and it just doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. Like, really, in reality, a degree is not a huge deal. Like, it really isn't. And it's just like, you can get jobs without degrees that even pay better than jobs that you have to have a degree with, you know what I mean? So it's like, it does not, like people are like, oh, you know, not a lot of people get degrees and blah blah. Like, I'm the first one in my family from like both of the sides of like my mom and my dad, like, you know, cousins and all of that. I'm like, in reality, it's not really a big deal. Like, I'm not any more smarter than, you know, you are. You know, we're all freaking smart as hell. Like, we really are. Like, human beings are so smart. We just sometimes don't get the chance to like really show it, because we're not doing what we're good at. Like, we're just doing a job because we're, you know, we have to pay bills and shit. But really, what are you good at? Like, you know your inner strengths. And I think it's awesome if you get a job and you do what you actually like love to do. Like, for example, you're doing this, and I know like it shows how excited you are to do this, you know, like it looks like you love it, you know. So that's like, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to be like, I want to do something that I love, you know what I mean? So I think like, it's like, that's what I'm talking about when we're like realizing like, okay, like, what do I do with my life, you know? And it's like, shit, like, I'm getting older. Like, how about if I don't want to do this my whole life? Like,
See,
what am I going to do, you know?
I like saying that when you're doing something that you don't like, for example, that is stress. That's why you're
It's stressed, yeah.
You know? Passion is just doing what it is you like. Like me, when I'm at my wage job, I'm fucking miserable.
Where do you work?
I'm currently in Sunnyvale right now. I'm in Trust Building Company. I'm in charge of repairing their forklifts, trucks, and trailers.
Oh, so you're a mechanic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Do you
Yeah.
like it?
See, when it comes to repairing stuff, I don't mind it. Like, if especially because me, a big goal that I have is to being able to compete in drifting.
See, that's
I'm like
cool.
that. I need to learn how to fix cars so that I can work on my own stuff.
Your next
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I went to school for that. Not just to work. I got no problem working with people's cars.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
I know folks, mad respects, they absolutely love it. Like, I'm like, man, I'm so happy because they're doing their thing. It's like you see them, and it's just like cars, like, man, I'll fix it, man. They're just you look at them just turning wrenches, and they're so alive. Like, I'm so happy for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like, I enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? I get to that point, but when it's coming from a different place. If it's like we're gonna build a race car or something, man, I'm all on it. But if it's just knowing that it's just a job or whatever, I'm just like, and I'm miserable. But this, I really like it. Why? Because I'm speaking, I'm developing myself, I'm growing, I'm hearing from folks. You know what I'm saying? It's just not me. I'm getting input in. So it's like at the same time I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm pushing the limits, and it's just something that it's simple at the same time. I'm actually doing it. I got the equipment, I get all this stuff. It's like nothing but to do it. Let's don't be scared. Let's see what happens. I don't want to be on my deathbed saying what if.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm like, man, I'm fucking Spike, and I did badass shit from a very young age. I gave myself the name of Spike. Why? I was so small. I was in kindergarten. So my ego said, you know what? So it's too fucking basic. No disrespect to my dad, but it's too fucking basic. My ego at that young age said I need more, so I gave my name Spike, and the Pro Spike comes from. you're going to be the best Jessica. You know, ain't nobody can be the better than you. The same. Nobody can be a better Spike than me. So I've said pro, short for professional Spike. I'm going to be the best Spike out there. That's where I got pro Spike at a young age. So I'm just like, whoa, I don't know what it is that I'm going to do, a singer or whatever, be big, but I'm going to be the best me. So pro Spike, that's where I got that from.
Yeah, for sure. I love it, man. Pro Spike.
Professional Spike. I'm the best Spike I could be.
Yeah, spiky Spike.
So definitely, man. I love how the reason I like to keep going, keep recording is because towards the end you start getting that rhythm, and then all stuff starts coming in. So definitely, it's one thing I really do want to do is longer sessions. Hopefully, I'll find a different place where it won't be too limited in time. This and that, we got to get packing. But thank you so much for being on the Prospike Experience, and it's such a pleasure seeing familiar faces that grew up with from school and still talk to. It's just a blessing because now we're so busy with our lives that we really don't communicate, and having your presence is just amazing. So thank you so much for your presence, because you never know, as my way home I could die. You
just never know.
Thank you so much for your presence.
No, of course, the pleasure was mine. This was pretty badass. I mean, I've never done this. I mean, there's a camera looking at me, there's a microphone in front of me, and we were just on Facebook Live, which was, I probably looked hideous, and but this is cool. I like it. I hope you continue to do more of this. And I call out Jonathan, Joe, your turn. Just kidding.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much. And this was the Prospike Experience, and with guest Jesica. And y'all have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a blessed one.